Welcome to this video on everything you need to know before travelling to South Korea. In this video we're going to share with you some of the best things that you can do when coming to South Korea, as well as introduce you to a few Korean words and take you to some of the best places to visit. As well as being informative and hopefully not too boring, we're just normal people like you. We're not robotic AI voices or people trying to sell you something every 5 minutes. And what I'll do for you is break this video up into sections on the timeline to make it easy to navigate if there's a particular section that's of interest to you more than others. So without further ado, let's get into the video now by looking at the transport here in South Korea. Like most major cities in the world, you've got options when it comes to transport, and South Korea's no different. The majority of people when flying to South Korea will fly into the biggest airport, which is Incheon International Airport. From here you've got easy access to the city of Seoul, and one way to get there is by using the express train that departs every 20 to 40 minutes from Incheon International Airport and takes approximately 40 minutes to get to the main station in the city, Seoul Station. And in case you're wondering, a price for a ticket will cost you 9,500 won, and I'll convert that into the different currencies on the screen. And that is for the express train. However, there is an all-stop train as well, which is a little bit cheaper at 4,150 to 4,751. There's other options other than the train too. There's taxis. And taxis here come in a range of different colours. You've got orange, blue and yellow, and often blacks for the private vehicles, but they're all easily identifiable by the taxi sign on the roof or the side of the vehicle. And how much is a taxi, I hear you wondering? You should expect to pay around 7,000 to 8,000 won for a trip anywhere within the city centre, and I'll convert that into the different currencies on the screen again. Just something else to be aware of, not all taxi drivers in South Korea can speak English, so it would be worth writing down your destination and show it to your driver to avoid any misunderstanding. Another thing to note is Google Maps doesn't work very well in South Korea as well, so it's recommended to download either Keiko or Naver Map for travelling around. The underground or subway system in South Korea is highly efficient and a great way to travel around. There is mixed reports about how easy or difficult it is to use, and that totally depends on you as an individual. Even if you've not had any experience using underground systems before, give it a go. It can be fun and a good experience. Even if you do get lost, don't panic. You can always get the other train back in the opposite direction. So explore it, try it and enjoy it. We'd recommend buying something called a T-Money card, which is a prepaid transportation card that can be used to pay for public transportation in cities across Korea. It includes buses and subways, and they're available at every convenience store and can make your life much easier when travelling around. I'd like to show you some of the Korean food here now, and you're in for a real treat, although I must say there was times where the food didn't agree with me, but that might not be the case for you, as I think my Western stomach just needed a bit more time to adjust to the different spices. And as you will see, we didn't hold back or refrain from eating anything in particular. We tried everything on offer. And I suggest you do the same too. Some of the spices and flavours are incredible, and I'll show you some examples of the foods that we ate now. We're just showing you all the food that's available if you come to South Korea, and as you can see you've got lots of different options from restaurants to cafes, and it must be said that the street food here is very popular, and you can see why. You can get everything from the corn and meats on a stick to desserts and everything in between. There is so much choice, and if you visit Seoul, we'd recommend putting this down as one of the things to do on your itinerary, because the stalls are absolutely endless and there's something for everyone. Regardless of your palate, you'll be able to find something that I'm sure you'll enjoy. And of course, we can't talk about Korean food and not mention the Korean barbecue, which uses much of the same meat you'd use in most barbecues, such as pork, beef and chicken, and no Korean barbecue feast is complete without a side dish of kimchi, which is a staple food in the Korean cuisine and is eaten as a side dish with almost every Korean meal. It basically consists of fermented vegetables like cabbage or radish and is seasoned with ginger, garlic and onion. From the barbecue to the coffee culture here in Korea, did you know that Korean people often visit cafes at any time of the day? Rather than visiting cafes merely to get a coffee, Korean people visit cafes to socialise, study, work and relax. In case you're wondering how to order a drink in South Korea, in particular one of these lovely mango smoothies, I'm going to show you exactly how not to do it, so you can learn from my mistakes and do it right. I'm normally quite good with technology and can work things out pretty quickly, but this thing had me baffled. So what can you learn from my mistake? And that is to check if you can change the language on the machine before you start, because you could convert this into English if you wanted to. Maybe you're clever enough to check that beforehand in the first place, unlike me. However, taking the positives, at least now I can say on my CV that I know how to order a milkshake in Korean. 감사합니다. And I can say thank you in Korean too. That leads us on to the next chapter of this video, which we will cover a little bit of the language in South Korea, as well as some useful things to know before coming here. As you've heard me just say thank you in Korean, and I'll remind you again how to say it with the help of these lovely ladies. 감사합니다. As well as thank you, another useful phrase to know is hello, and with the help of these three lovely ladies, Da, Kwan and Fang, they will show you how to pronounce hello for you, as well as recapping thank you. Kwan, because she's just said it right. How do you say hello in Korean? 안녕하세요. And Da, how do you say thank you? 감사합니다. 감사합니다. 감사합니다.
감사합니다. 안녕하세요.
감사합니다. Hello and thank you covered in Korean. You're all set now, although we managed to get by with just being able to say hello and thank you. It may be worth downloading Korea's easiest to use translator app called Papago. And whilst we're talking about apps, I'm going to give you the name of a few of the useful apps now if you're going to be staying in Korea for any length of time. And one of those would be one called Coupang, which is basically Korea's Amazon, where you can get absolutely everything at a good price. There's also a Coupang Eats, which again will deliver your food, normally between 20 and 30 minutes at a really cheap price. There's also Kakao Taxis, which is, as the name suggests, good for booking taxis, and is basically the Korean Uber. And there's also an app called Subway, which is, again, easy and friendly to use, and that'll help you navigate around the subway systems. And another thing you'll have heard me mention throughout this video was the Korean won, which is the currency here in South Korea. But don't worry if you come here and haven't got any money converted, because there's plenty of places to exchange your money, and a good place is at Incheon Airport when you arrive. So what else might you need when coming here? And I'd suggest plenty of space in your luggage, because there's lots of items you can buy here that are cheaper than in Western countries. And one of these being beauty products. Korean people seem to be quite obsessed with this, which is good because that competition can only drive prices down, meaning that you can find good deals all around. And one other thing would be to bring a good pair of walking shoes as well, because South Korea is a very walkable place, mainly due to the cooler temperatures compared to other Asian countries. I'm going to take you for a look around some of the shops here in South Korea now, and I will do some price comparisons for you so that you can see if any of these products are cheaper than in your home country. Like these Nike trainers. And I'll convert these from the price tag of 199,000 won onto the screen into the different currencies now. This good looking Adidas jumper will cost you 75,000 won, and I'll convert that again onto the screen for you. Other brands are available, like this brand here, which is popular all over the world, and Seoul's no different. It may be the biggest shop I went in solely for one brand, pardon the pun. These Air Maxes will set you back 175,200 won, and when I was a lad you could have bought 10 pairs for that. As well made as they are, I do believe the markup on these are extortionate. It's probably because they're still paying for sponsorship deals for well-known basketball players. But if you are watching Nike, I'll happily be sponsored by you on these videos instead of the usual knocked-off gear that I wear. I'm curious if you've been to different countries before and tried to convert the different products into your own currency, because this is what I do, and I do it to see if I'm getting a better deal than what I would back at home, which in my case is England. So for me, I convert things into British pounds, just like this bottle of Absolute vodka, which in South Korean money, one costs 37,000. And I'll convert that into all the different currencies on the screen for you now. Or in case you were wondering, you've got these nail clippers at a cost of 5,200 won. And a bag of Haribo sweets will cost you 2,000 won. Which for me is roughly about the same as what it is in the UK, but I'd be interested to know if these are more or less expensive from your country. Now to the chapter of this video that might interest you the most about coming to South Korea, and that's what is there to see here? And the answer is a lot. And in this chapter of the video I will show you all the things that you can do when visiting here. It's not one shoe fits all when you come here, and what might be good for you might not appeal to somebody else. Therefore, in this chapter I'll list you 10 places for you to give you ideas of the type of things that you can do here. And I'll start with number 1 on the list, which is a theme park, and not just any theme park, but the biggest theme park in South Korea, called Everland. Hold on tight. Everland is South Korea's most popular theme park, and it's located on the outskirts of Seoul in Yongin City and takes around 2 hours to get here from Seoul. You can easily spend a full day here if you've got time. The rides are as good as any theme park in the world, and if adrenaline and adventure's what floats your boat, then this place is definitely worth a visit. And I said I'd keep it brief. However, if you do want a more detailed look at Everland, you can always check out our other videos that will give you a more in-depth look at this place and what it has to offer. So we shall leave Everland there for now and moving on to number 2 on the list, which you may or may not have expected to be on a place to come when visiting South Korea, and that's a strawberry farm. If you've ever wondered what strawberries taste like in South Korea, look no further. As you can see, they're big and juicy, and you can even get to dip them in chocolate, like Fang's doing here.
Tasty!
As well as make your own strawberry jam. It's just another thing to consider that you may not have thought about when visiting South Korea. And I wasn't sure whether this was where they washed the strawberries or not. Next up is number 3 on our list of things to do in South Korea, and you'll have to pardon my pronunciation on this one. But this place is called Changdeokgung Palace, and I'll put the name on the screen and let you decide if I said that right. I think I did okay on that one. It costs 3,000 Korean won if you want to enter, and these information booklets are free. We'd recommend allowing at least an hour and a half to see everything here. It's a 5-minute walk from the subway in Seoul, and you get off at the Hanbok station if you are coming by the subway. But this building here that we're walking up to now is constructed of wood, and as you can see it's set on a stone platform, and it features a tiled hip roof with a corbelled multi-bracket system and ornamented carvings. I hope that this has given you a bit of an idea of what this palace is like. We would highly recommend visiting here, as well as the next place that we're going to visit. And talking about this next place, it's conveniently a short walk away from the palace, and there's lots of shops near the area where you can get drinks and refreshments. And if you're wondering what that place is called, it's called Bukchon Hanok Village. And this is number 4 on the list of things to do in South Korea. It's a good idea to put the two things together in your itinerary as they're so close to each other. This traditional Korean village has a long history going back 600 years and is preserved to show the old urban environment. It's at the top of a hill, and a survey from 2,000 people was carried out to show that this place was voted the 4th favourite activity in Seoul. I'm not sure I'd go as far as that, but I suppose it's very subjective and depends on what you like to do. There's no doubt I'd recommend visiting. It's a fantastic place with lots of little houses you can go in and explore, and there's also a free walking tour which we didn't go on as it takes 2 to 3 hours. However, if you wanted to go on the walking tour, you get to collect some stamps along the way from the different destinations, and at the end of the tour you get a keychain made up of all the stamps. I'm presuming at a cost, which could make a nice souvenir or reminder of your time here. That was our little tour of Bukchon Hanok village for you, and is somewhere that I can actually pronounce. As we approach halfway on the list of the top 10 things to see in South Korea, up next at number 5 we've got the largest ski resort in South Korea, called Elysian. This place is easily accessible by train from Seoul and costs very little to get here. If you're wanting to try skiing, snowboarding or even sledging, this could be the place for you. It's beginner friendly, so even if you've never skied before, this would be an ideal place to come and learn. They've got English speaking instructors and the prices are very reasonable. Skiing here is suitable for all levels. There's slopes for beginners, intermediate and advanced skiers, and something interesting is that each slope has its own name. For example, you've got the panda slope, zebra, puma, dragon, horse, to name a few. If you were wanting to ski, snowboard or even do some sledging here, you might want to check out our other video about this place, which will give you a more in-depth look at what's on offer here, including the prices and best time of year to come. And I might as well tell you actually what the best time of year to come. It is in fact between December and March, because after that the snow starts melting. Once we got to the top of the mountain, it was basically just a good place where we could take some cool photos. And there's an opportunity if ever I've seen one. If you're not following us on Instagram, our handle, I think you call it, is on the screen now. And I'll put a link in the description to our other social medias in there as well, like TikTok and whatnot. That's just quite right, that sounded good. Moving on to number 6 now, and taking you back into Incheon, to the Songdo district, and to a place called Songdo Central Park. If you've had a heavy night's drinking or a long flight and need some headspace or just a nice place to walk, then Songdo Central Park could be the place for you. If you wanted, you could take one of these bikes or scooters for a whiz around the park. All you need to do is download the associated app, put your card details in, and away you go. It's a very open park and you can feel the fresh breeze when you breathe deep into your lungs. It's a good place to relax the body, mind and soul, and even hire a boat and go for a cruise on the water. We spent around an hour at the park, and you could spend a lot longer if you wanted, or hired one of these boats. And just in case you're wondering, like I was, how much it costs to hire one of these boats, it's apparently 23 Great British pounds for a 30-minute boat ride, according to a well-known website. And I'll convert that onto the screen into all the different currencies for you now. We're now at number 7 now, which is Chinatown, and we've always found Chinatowns to be an authentic place to visit, and this one's no different. It's easily accessible by the underground in Seoul or by taxi or even bus. Give yourself a few hours to walk around here and explore all that's on offer. There's some great little restaurants serving the traditional Korean Chinese food, like that yellow coloured dish called jampong, and the dish with a black coloured sauce is called jjajangmyeon, and there's even a museum dedicated to that famous dish here. That was me opening up character 2 or Duction stance, known in Chinese as Yiji Kim Young Ma, or the goat stance, in homage and respect for the 3 noble kings. Wasn't really, it was just me trying to show off. That's the famous statue of Confucius, probably the most respected philosopher in Chinese history. And if you want to know more about the history and story behind all these murals, you can do just that. As if by magic, I've made another video solely about this place, Chinatown. So if you wanted to get a more in-depth look at this place, you can do so. But for now, in this video, we're going to walk back down this street now towards these giant 11-metre gates called Jungwa. From Chinatown, this leads us nicely onto number 8 on the list, which is Wolmido Island. And as the name suggests, it is an island 1 kilometre off the coast of South Korea near Incheon. It's a good place to come and relax by the sea, and it's a fun place to walk around. There's a theme park and lots of amusement arcades to play, and I'll show you some of the games in the amusement arcades now. Wolmido Island is a tiny island about 3 kilometres long, and it's just a 1-hour drive away from Seoul. A few years ago a new roadway was constructed to join Wolmido Island to the mainland, making it easier to travel. It's probably a good time to mention in this video that I've made a series specifically about South Korea and our time there. For you guys on YouTube, I've been told it's quite a good watch and quite fun, but I'll let you be the judge of that for yourself. It consists of 4 parts and covers everything from how we got to South Korea and the things that we did on a day-to-day basis. So if this video's been helpful or useful for you, it might be worth checking out that series too. And it'll also show you if I hit that 5th dart on that Pop the Balloon game too. At number 9, we've got Hanbok dress, and there's places all over the city where you can come to dress up in these traditional Korean clothes known as Hanbok. Hanbok is basically the name for a type of formal clothing that the Koreans wear on holidays and special occasions, and you'll more likely see people walking around in this traditional Korean dress at many of the tourist spots. Bukchon Hanok village was a popular place where we saw many people walking around in this type of cloth, and you can also walk around in this clothes too, because there's plenty of places where you can rent these costumes all over the city, and the prices will depend on how long you hire it for, and you can hire it anywhere from between a few hours to a day. But make sure you shop about, because you may be able to find better deals. And that leads us on to last but not least of the favourite places that we visited on the list at number 10, which is a place called Forest Outings, and is basically a cafe, but not like any normal cafe. As you can see, it has a mini lake and a garden inside. It's very common in South Korea to have these warehouse and industrial style cafes, but this one tops the list and is on a totally different scale. It is absolutely huge. The highlight of this place had to be some of these award-winning looking pastries and cakes and sandwiches, and I'll take you on a walk around this place now and show you what a lovely place it is. You might be thinking at this point, why haven't I subscribed to this awesome channel already? Or you might actually be thinking, is there anything else I need to know if I wanted to visit South Korea? And I hope that I've covered all the major things that you'll need to know before coming here, like the food, the transport, money, places to go, etc. But maybe just a few last things you may need to know, and that's that the power adapters in South Korea are type F. So they're the 2-pin prong ones. And I'll put a picture on the screen for you, just to make sure that you get the right adapter when you come in here so you can charge up your electronic devices. And I guess all that's left from me is to say kamsahamnida for watching. We shall see you on the next video.